All That Is Dark Chapter 4. Present. I glance at my house one last time, taking a deep breath and letting it out slowly before getting into the car. This house holds so many memories for me. I've lived most of my life in this house. My parents had plans of moving to a different one after the elections. They've been building something way bigger and fit for a member of parliament and future minister. My father had so much faith in his political career, he was certain once he became MP, he would further be selected as minister, his ministry of choice being finance. Despite the chaos that lay behind those closed doors, at least I was home. At the end of the day, I had a place I could always go back to. I don't know if I have that now. I might be related to these people in the car with me by blood, but they are practically strangers. How am I supposed to navigate through life with people I hardly know? Auntie Leticia promised to check on me constantly and we said bye. I held on to her for dear life. She too is a stranger, but she feels like a safer stranger at this point. We drive in silence, and I imagine what my next few years will be like. Weird interactions, thick tension in the air, feeling out of place, not being able to belong. "Babe, you've been unusually quiet, are you okay?" Uncle Richard asks. "I've just been thinking about how fragile life is. Isn't it just the other week when we were watching your brother and his wife being interviewed on TV? Who knew they wouldn't be alive a week later? Indeed, a lot can happen in a week. I am not even surprised at what happened. Harrison was always a selfish bastard. I could see behind those smiles and flashy clothes that he and Clara showed in public. Those two might have had money, but they had so many skeletons in their closet. They didn't want to seek help because they were afraid of what society would say. It's a pity things had to end like that for them, but on the bright side, I am glad you and I get to be in charge of everything they owned, including their bratty child." Bratty child. That should be me. My heart slams hard against my chest. I knew they were faking it in front of the family, I just didn't think they would expose themselves this quick. The rivalry between my father and uncle dates from the time they were young. From what I heard, my father was always better than his elder brother in all areas. He did extremely well in school, excelled at his business, and was also succeeding even at his political career, something that didn't sit well with my uncle. Even though he doesn't acknowledge it, this man owes everything that he has to my father. It was my father that gave him money to start his real estate company. It was my father's money that made him rich. Everything that my father gave him was never enough, he always wanted more. He always wanted to get to his level. He laughs. God sure has a sense of humor. After all the hard work that my brother did and how selfish he was with his money, I still get to own everything. They are talking about my parents like I am not in the car with them. What sort of people are these? Bile rises in my throat, and I swallow it down. I can't get sick here. "Babe, your brother's death is a blessing in disguise. We can use it for our own gain. You can actually become the politician you've always aspired to be. You can ride on Harrison's popularity." You are right. We need to grab this opportunity with both hands. The entire way, they continue talking about how they will use my father's death to their advantage, completely ignoring me. I sigh and close my eyes, slowly biting my lower lip, feeling tired from my current state of life. Of all the things that this man and his wife have said, I agree with one thing: my father was selfish. He decided to die even when he knew the kind of family he had. Knowing these people would never be able to fully accept me as their own. I wish my parents were still alive. Flaws and all, I would have picked them over these people taking me home. Uncle Richard pulls into the driveway of his house, my new place of residence. There are several other cars in the driveway. Their house is huge but not as big as ours. They are actually rich too. I wonder why they were intimidated by my parents' money and fame. Stepping out of the car, I spot a young man with headsets plugged into his ears, peeking through the window. We lock eyes and he quickly disappears. I wonder who he is. They get out of the car and usher me into the house even before I have time to get my bags. I get into the living room and the young man I saw at the window is sitting on the couch, his eyes focused on the TV. "Jack," Auntie Marie says. "Can you call the girls? We need them to meet someone." "Okay," he stands up and heads upstairs. I am exhausted. I hate funerals, my uncle says, throwing himself on the couch. His wife sits right beside him before she responds. "At least we have benefited from this funeral," she laughs. I know, right? I stand frozen in position, feeling so out of place. I wish I could turn back the hands of time and go back to 3 weeks prior. Ivy and Hannah eventually come downstairs. They happily greet their parents before staring at me. You can tell from the looks on their faces that they aren't happy I am here. "Girls, this is Twange. I am sure you know who she is and what happened to her parents. Twange will be staying with us for now." She doesn't give them time to respond before she turns to me. "Twange. My daughters Ivy and Hannah. This young man is my younger brother Jackson. I expect you to treat them all with respect. I know your parents spoiled you rotten. You are a very silly child that doesn't regard anyone, but things will have to change. In my house you will behave like the visitor that you are. I will not hesitate to discipline you when I hear any complaints. So help you God." I hope my wife is clear, huh? I nod. "I would prefer you respond to me in words." "Yes, uncle. You will address us as madam and sir when we are in this house. The uncle and auntie bullshit will only apply when we are outside or when we have visitors," Auntie Marie adds. "Okay. I want to be addressed as ma'am," Ivy says. "And one more thing. Whatever happens behind these closed doors remains here. You are not allowed to open your mouth and talk about the affairs of this house with anyone. I am a disciplinarian, Twange. If you make any mistakes I will beat you in ways no one ever has. Have I made myself clear?" "Yes, sir. And the counseling bullshit that your mother's family talked about will not happen. I am not about to waste money for you to talk about the drama that went on in your parents' house. Find a way to deal with your emotions. You are not the only child to lose parents." I open my mouth to respond but I choke, so I close my mouth again. "I think that will be all for now," Auntie Marie says. Then they all start speaking softly to one another as if I aren't inches away. Asterisk. Alab. Forever your August girl. Black Heart.